Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everyone, especially to Sejong. Okay. Today we're gonna learn about the value of sine, cosine, and tangent for the angle theta from 0 degree to 360. These topics are from Mathematics Form 5 in the syllabus of KSSM. So here is the learning objective for this session. By the end of this session, students should be able to first identify the unit circle, second, explain the characteristic of each quadrant, third, determine the quadrant and corresponding reference angle alpha from each angle theta that have been given, and lastly, calculate the angle from the coordinate that have been given in the unit circle. So student, what do you see in the picture? Yes, it's a unit circle. So what is unit circle? Unit circle is a circle that we use to identify what is the corresponding reference angle and the angle of the circle itself. It's divided by 4, so it has 4 quadrants. And each of the quadrant has their own characteristic that we're going to learn later. Now, we're going to learn about the first quadrant. The first quadrant is from the angle 0 degrees to 90 degrees. All the value of the trigonometric sine, cos, and tan are positive, and the corresponding reference angle, or the short form is the reference angle, are equal to the theta given. As you can see, the value of sine, cos, and tan are positive. Next is a second quadrant. The second quadrant, the theta is from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. In this quadrant, only sine values are positive, cos and tan values are negative, and the reference angle is equal to 180 minus the theta given. Now, we're going to learn about third quadrant. The third quadrant is from 180 degrees to 270, the value of the theta. In this quadrant, only tan is a positive. The tan value is positive, and the reference angle are theta minus 180 degrees. And you can see the sine and the cos are valued negative, while the tan is positive. Why? Because the coordinate of y and the coordinate of x, since both are negative, when we divide negative integers with negative integers, we will get positive integers. And last but not least, the fourth quadrant. The value of theta is from 270 degrees to 360 degrees. And this quadrant, only cos value are positive, and the reference angle are 360 degrees minus theta. And since the cos only positive here, so the value of sine and the value of tan theta are negative. Why tan is negative now? Okay, we know that sine is negative and cos is positive. So when negative integers divided by positive integers, you will get negative value. So after all this, how we want to know and remember and memorize the order and also what quadrant is, what value is positive? Don't worry, I have one acronym to help you. Number, since the first quadrant is all, second quadrant is sine, the third quadrant is tan, and the fourth quadrant is cos. It follows the anti-clockwise, not the clockwise, anti-clockwise. So we studied all. In Malay, semua. Sine, singa, tan, takut, and cos, comel. So we get semua singa, takut, comel. Easy, right? So we learn a little bit about what is unit circle, what's the characteristic of each quadrant in the unit circle. Now, let's see some example from the question above. So, determine the quadrant and the reference angle, that is alpha, for each of the following. A is 72.3 degrees. B, 321.8 degrees. Okay, for the first question, we know the theta that been given is 72.3. 72.3, is it from 0 to 90 or 90 to 180? Yes, it's from 0 degrees to 90 degrees. So it's from first quadrant. Therefore, the corresponding reference angle, that is the alpha, is equal to the theta. The second characteristic, okay? The alpha equal to theta. So the alpha is equal to 72.3 degrees. Okay, how about B? The B is the angle given is 321.8 degrees. That's a lot. Okay. So which quadrant that this angle from? Quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? Yes, it's from quadrant 4. Why? Because the range from 270 degrees to 360 degrees. So it's from fourth quadrant. Therefore, the reference angle alpha is 360 minus the theta given. So 360 minus 331.8, we get 38.2 degrees. Understand? Easy. Okay, so let's see from the example 2. This example 2 is a question quite different from the before. Okay, let's see what's the question are. Each of the following diagram shows a unit circle and the angle theta. Determine the value of tan theta and the value of the angle theta. We want theta, not reference angle alpha. We want theta. So we need to give the theta. Alright. How we want to solve this question? Quite tricky, huh? Quite tricky, huh? Okay, don't worry. We have the solution. Just relax. So, for the next question, the coordinate is of f is 2.47 and negative 1.7. So, as the previous question, all we need to do is find the tan alpha, and after that, we can find the angle. First, the tan alpha. Tan alpha is equal to y over x as usual. Then, we put the value 1.7, negative 1.7 divided by 2.47. We get the value tan alpha equal to negative 0.688259. Okay, negative value. Use calculator, okay? Use calculator. Alright, then why is negative? Because the value, why the value of tan is negative? Because it's in the fourth quadrant, and the one of the characteristics of the fourth quadrant is only cos will be positive, the others will be negative. Okay, so we know the value of tan alpha. So what is the value of alpha? So the alpha will get equal to tan inverse negative 0.688259. Okay, take the value of the positive, not the negative one. Just take the number only, don't take the negative. If we take the negative, it will be completely incorrect. Okay, so we'll get the alpha 34.54 degree. Then after we get the alpha, we can get the theta. So one of the characteristic of fourth quadrant is to get the alpha, all you need to do is 360 minus the theta. So now we want to make the theta as the main. So all you need to do is just put the alpha from left to the right and the theta from right to the left. So we get theta equal to 360 minus alpha. So we get 360 degrees minus 34.54 degrees. We get the theta 325.46 degrees. Easy? Yes, very easy. So we already saw some example. Now let's do some question. By the way, this question I picked from the book text, but change a little bit of the question. Okay, so the question one, Yong Ying plays a game of darts. Okay, darts, you know the board have the it's a round shape and have four quadrants. Okay, like the diagram shown in the below. So she finds that the dart that she throws usually hit the quadrant with the value of sign theta equal to 0.809. So first we need to state the quadrants, and second we need to state the angles. These questions are a little bit easier because we know the characteristic of the each quadrant. So we know the value of sine is positive. So when the value of sine is positive, that means yes, first quadrant and the second quadrant will be positive. You know, semua ingat tak takut comel. Semua ingat takut comel. So semua all and single is sign will be positive. Okay, look at the question A and question B. Question A, I already told that since the value is the positive value, so we can assume that the dart landing in the first and the second quadrant of the board. 2 marks already there. So the B question to find the angle of the dart. How many angle? 2. Because we assume it landing on the first and the second quadrant. So the sine theta that we get is equal to 0.809. So we know there is a reference angle. The theta now is equal to the alpha. So the theta now is become the reference angle. So sine theta equal to 0.809. So the theta is sine inverse 0.809, we will get 54 degrees. So since the dot is from quadrant 1, we can assume that reference angle equal to the theta, the angle itself. So the first angle is 54 degrees. So we know that this value of sine is positive. So the second quadrant should be count as well. So how we want to know the theta value? We know that theta equal to 180 degrees minus alpha. The alpha is 54. So the theta equal to 180 degrees minus 54 degrees, we will get 126 degrees. So the angle that we can assume that dart will be landing is from the angle 54 degrees and 126 degrees. Okay, that is easy question. Okay, I'm sure you can answer it well. After this, I will show you how to calculate using the calculator for this question. For the first question B, okay, it said to find the angle of the dart. Okay, to find the angle of the dart, we know that sine theta is equal to 0.809. So all you need to do is to find the theta is just inverse the sine. So how to inverse the sine? So click shift and then click sine. You will get inverse sine. And then click the value 0.809. Okay, you have bracket, close the bracket. Then when we use the equal, press the equal button, we will get 53.9983 for 3.7. So that's why I picked 54 degrees easier. Okay, so we know the sine inverse for 0.809 is 54 degrees. So that's all for me. I hope you enjoy our class session. Hopefully, we see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.